Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Um, it has been known that in any given community, 3%, you guys, that's 3% of males are sexual predators. Okay, and that's really crazy. It's a crazy statistic, because I would say that's a really big number. Okay, and that's scary. Okay, knowing this as a female, it can be scary. Okay, and so um, you guys, most predators, most sexual predators are males, unfortunately. Okay, and yeah, so in this video, guys, we're going to discuss how these sexual predators target their prey. So you don't fall victim. Okay, so you can kind of protect yourself if you're a female. Okay, so I guess this video is going to be particularly for females and not males, right? So yeah, but anyways, guys, the problem with male predators, right, is that they can come off as, to the average eye, right, to someone who doesn't pay attention to details, right? They can come off as someone who is very polite, someone who is very charming, someone who is, I don't know, someone who is hardworking, even male predators tend to be high achieving, okay, and they tend to be hardworking, and they have a tendency to even want to please their bosses, right? And so there's that, okay. So there's a mask there, right? There's an obvious mask there, okay. And so you will never know that particular guy, is going to be a sexual predator, okay. He can be like the quarterback, right, that knows everyone, right, and that's friends with everyone, okay. But it's his mind. It's his mind that is extremely perverted, extremely delusional, and has usually tends to hold a lot of stereotypes and um, rigid beliefs about the opposite sex too. Okay, and so he might think that like females, are there to serve him, or females are, the I don't know, the weaker sex, right? He might hold he might speak very negatively about females, and might call them bitches, sluts, and so on, right? And all of those negative terms. And he has no problems with doing that, okay. He is definitely one of those guys that lives in the mailbox, okay. And he has adapted that persona and that image, okay. And he's so he doesn't think that females are equal to him, okay. He thinks that they're below him, and if they dress a certain way, he thinks that they deserve whatever is coming to them, okay. So if he decides to to violate a female, he might blame it on her for dressing a certain way, basically, okay. So it's really crappy. I mean, it's really in my point of view, I think it's really crazy how people can think this way, right? And but unfortunately, like I said in one of my other videos, right, is that sometimes there are people, right, and they're like predators, right? They're literally like predators. They're your own kind. They're a human being, right? Or at least they seem like a human being, right? But the things that they do, the way that they think, they're very atrocious. They're very disturbing, and so these people are very dangerous, right? And so it pays to pay attention to I don't know, to who you surround with, right? And who you trust even, right? Because these people, they can fool you very easily, as they come off as someone who is very like reliable and trustworthy, right? And guys, in most cases, okay, predators, right, um, they're actually people that tend to sexually violate others or other females. They tend to be friends or acquaintances, okay, and most or neighbors, right? And so, uh, yeah, it's really crazy. It usually, in most cases, it's someone you already know, okay. And so, be careful, be wary of who you surround yourself with, and who you trust, okay. And so, because you never really know another person, right? And um, there's that, right? Also, um, it's funny because, I mean, it's not funny, right? But in many situations when someone is very like, mm, people tend to do this, right? Especially if you're like a younger person, right? When you're going through a lot of issues, a lot of problems in your personal life, right? Maybe in your relationships, you tend to go out and you tend to drink, right? You tend to go out and you tend to get drunk. And that's exactly when the predators get you, okay? They're hoping that you would drink something, okay? They will try to get you drunk. They will try to give you a drug, okay? They will try to basically knock you off your senses, okay? They want you to not remember anything. They want to take advantage of you, okay? And so if you're a female in a vulnerable situation, don't put yourself, if you're already vulnerable, right? If you have just gone through a breakup, right? Maybe something happened, maybe a death in the family, right? Maybe you're just feeling like you, I don't know, um, maybe you lost your job, right? Don't go out there and drink, okay? Or get drunk or get wasted, right? You don't want to do that because they're predators. They're looking for exactly that. And they're looking for a female to take advantage of in these situations, and so they're going to, they're going to come in and they're going to take advantage of you when you're at your lowest, okay? And so pay attention to that, guys. One time, and no, well, let's get back to this, okay? So, the way that they do this, right? Also, and who do they go for, right? Do the sexual predators target? Once again, they target someone who they deem vulnerable, right? And so, how they make this assessment is actually, well, okay, maybe you're alone somewhere, right? Maybe you're new to something. Maybe you're new in a group. You don't know anyone, right? So you're excluded, right? So if you're excluded, right, if you don't have too much of a community, if you don't have too many friends, right, they will go for you, okay? If you're a single mom, right, as something that just happened to me, if you're a single mom in like an underdeveloped country, right, like in an Eastern European country, if you maybe live there or if you're from there, right, maybe if you're lacking the financial resources, right, they'll target you, okay, unfortunately. um, what else, okay, and also of course they always notice your body language, right? Guys, it has been known, not just sexual predators, right, but people that scam or lie or steal, right? So thieves, they also target based on body language, okay? And so if you are like, if you're slouching your shoulders, right, while you're walking, if you're taking like mini steps, like very uncomfortable steps, right? Guys, body language is everything, right? We commit like over 80% or maybe around 80% of how we communicate with others, right, is through body language. And so guys, people always pay attention to this because your body language, it can make you or break you literally, okay? You guys, I just watched the video, right? And there was this guy, I don't know if it's a good example for this video, but there was this guy, right? And he was a cute guy, right? And he was trying to, get a number of a female, right? And so he was trying and trying, but his body language was completely off, okay? He couldn't talk, okay? When he chatted, he sounded like he was like mumbling, and so his physical attractiveness went completely down because it seemed like he had no confidence in himself based on the way that he was carrying himself, right? He was constantly slouching. Also, he couldn't chat. He basically, uh, the way that he spoke, right? The way he presented himself, the way he carried himself, his body posture, right? his tone of voice, it screamed, I'm desperate, I have no confidence in myself, okay? And so every female would just shoot him down, shoot him down. And guys, at the end, you know what he did? He actually came up with an excuse of, oh, all females just want money, you know? And I was like, no, buddy, that's actually not it, right? It's actually your body posture, it's your body language, it's your tone of voice, it's the fact that you just, it screams, everything about you screams, I'm unconfident, okay? And as you guys know, unconfidence, it relates to a lot of other things, right? And so confidence is extremely important, right? And anyways, but let's get back to, sorry, I got off tangent here, right? But I was just trying to tell you guys how important body language is, right? And so when it comes to being targeted, right, your body language is also very important, okay? And once again, predators look for body language that is that shows that you are vulnerable, that you maybe have had recently had like a breakup, okay? And so you're sad, right? You feel kind of like insecure, maybe you feel down, okay? That's what they look for. So they will target you just based on that, okay? Maybe you're slouching your shoulders, you're kind of like looking around, you know, you're like, you know, you are your body is like tightly you know, you kind of you're bringing your body close together, right? You're taking baby steps basically, right? You don't have this confident stroll about you, right? Maybe you're just looking down, you're afraid to make eye contact, right? So guys, they will go after you if you're a girl and you're behaving in this way, okay? Once again, also, if you tell the people that you are you're you're on your healing journey, don't tell this to anyone. If you are on your healing journey, just keep this to yourself, okay? They will also pay attention to that. If you tell them that you're on your healing journey, that means you haven't healed yet, okay? And so there's this room to get in for them, right? As the devils that they are, right? They will want to get in there before you've healed and unheal you. Okay, and so guys, this is like so pay attention to your body language, pay attention to, you know, once again, if you are in a vulnerable situation, if you have just gotten out of a relationship, you know, if you don't have a job, if you're struggling in any way, if you're feeling low, right? That's when these low vibrational individuals come in and try to take advantage of you, okay? So don't let this happen, okay? They are very slick, you know. If they do something to you, okay, God forbid, you know, then, you know, they might try to, you know, call you the next day, okay, or text you, okay, and they might try to manipulate the situation even farther, okay, just to get you to think that it wasn't their fault, okay. So they might try to behave as if you wanted it, okay, even though you couldn't remember anything, right? This is also another one of their strategies, okay, that they use to get their victim to believe a certain narrative, okay, and that's why they might call you after the sexual abuse, okay, or the sexual assault, okay. And so it's really crazy because a lot of times, guys, these seemingly perfect leaders of community, even, right, they can have some very, very dark skeletons in their closet, okay, possible you know, sexual abuse and assault, possible even child abuse and things like that, basically, okay. So they're very disturbing, very creepy, and yeah, just be careful out there, ladies, okay. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts on this, okay. Also, guys, please check out my books if you haven't already. Feel free to purchase my fitness and nutrition course. It's really, really amazing. I think you will love it. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos.